animal.
Welcome to the League of Legends Legendary Podcast. Legendary League of Legends. What the fuck?
Welcome to the Legendary League of Legends Podcast.
That one.
At 7
That's the
p.m.
podcast
Eastern
we're doing.
Standard Time every Wednesday, except for the one time we didn't do it on Wednesday.
We forget about that one.
Yeah, that was a non-canon episode.
We got the best team in the LCS winning, and I can say that because they're both going to the final.
I'll give it to you.
TSM just they took C9's crap and then threw it right back at them. Ooh, it felt good. And then Flyquest.
Don't jump ahead of the schedule.
Then Flyquest were kinda.
Show, dude.
They ain't gonna keep up. They don't keep up too well with TL, to be honest. Turns out when TL plays on their game, they're pretty good.
Yeah, it's almost like when a super team isn't inting. It's almost like when we're not picking York, boys. We win games.
Don't bring up York, man. That's just
funny.
That's toxic.
Funny. Correct. I'm a toxic person.
Yeah. Toxic. Okay. So.
Yeah. Toxic.
Into our first series of C9 versus TSM. We both said it was 3-2, but I said it was for TSM, and he said it was for Cloud9.
I did say it was for Cloud9, and I lost. Although we were both right about 3-2.
Yeah. But that's why I have a blue, and you have a red.
Well, I've got a light red.
I would have chose a darker red, but the next predictions took that.
Yeah, we both got bodied next time, but that's okay. We were both coming in heavy with the grief. Like,
I'm a little sad there isn't a third place match, because I really would like to talk about Fly versus C9, but...
Yeah, I kind of wish there was. It would be fun, but oh well. I'll say this. I'm not happy.
I am. I'm very happy.
I know you're very happy, but I don't even think you should. Okay, listen. Bjergsen in a tier 3. Okay, that's actually good. I just saw that, but can I be honest? I felt like a couple of the games were like well played, good to watch games, and it felt like a couple of the games both teams were a little bit fucking around. It felt like a couple of those games neither team was playing well, you know. Well,
for the first two games in the CSM C9 series, which is the first one, we'll be talking about.
Okay, sorry, I got ahead of myself.
You did, because it's the other way around. This one was the Saturday game.
Oh my god.
So,
wait,
first
what was
two games
I talking
C9,
about?
I don't know.
I was saying the C9 versus TSM series. It looked like some of the games.
I'm just trying to focus the conversation.
Oh my god, dude. I'm saying overall, my overall impression. That's what we always do, anyway.
Okay. So, first two games, C9 had very good control. And then someone told Bjergsen that this is your 100th game. Do you want to lose your 100th game? And he's like, no, I don't. And then he picked Akali. And then he played Akali. Don't let Bjergsen play Akali, folks. Don't do that. That's
true.
That's a bad time.
I guess let Broken Blade play it sometimes.
Don't do that. Don't let Broken Blade. TSM, don't let Broken Blade play. Don't let him play that shit. I don't want to see him on Akali again. That was
That was hard to watch. Even as a C9 fan, I was like, ooh, this is nasty.
You know what Impact's really good at? Taking shit. You know what Akali is? Giving shit.
Impact is not on C9.
You're right. What am I doing? Licorice.
You're talking about Licorice.
You're right. So I'm out of this.
Yeah, you're actually trolling.
Don't try to overly skill matchup Licorice. But you know what you do? Good. Do you know what you do? You let him last pick Ornn blind into Braum already picked, and then you counter pick it with Vladimir.
Oh god.
That's what you do.
Actually, I don't even think Vladimir's the reason they won that game.
It's not. But it's just it makes Ornn more useless. That's
true, but Vladimir felt like he was inting late game, except for the very last fight. I thought the Vlad pick was actually like if it felt like if ever they were going to lose, it was going to be because of that. But we'll get to that. Akali on the first two games were very good, and I was happy to see the Hecarim. I was not happy to see two Jarvan games in a row, games 3 and 4. I was really not fucking happy with that at all. I don't understand why, especially because the second one they gave him Rek'Sai, they gave Acadian Rek'Sai, and like that's one of the 3 junglers he's like crazy at. Like, why? You first picked Jarvan over Rek'Sai. You won 2 games ago on Rek'Sai, and you just lost on Jarvan. Why? Anyway, I'm mad. Dude, I was so mad about that pick in the moment.
I question C9's drafting a lot this series. I think.
Dude, I know it's fucking crazy.
I think
the Zed. Why did they fucking pick Zed? Look at the team comp, Anthony. He's gonna kill 2 people, maybe. They have a fucking bruiser, a tanky support, and a Cho'Gath. Why are you picking Zed? Oh my god. Sorry, I'm just furious. I haven't been able to get this out yet. Ooh, okay.
Oh, this site doesn't have pick order. But I think Zed apparently does well into Zoe. I've never seen that.
I've never seen it, and also,
but that's
just
what I've been told.
Pick something else,
but
dude.
Nizzy
because
doesn't look like he can play Zed into Bjergsen. Have you tried playing Zed into Bjergsen? Because I've seen people play Zed into Bjergsen, and they don't do well.
I've never tried playing
he plays.
Yeah,
I've never played against Bjergsen in my life.
Like
and
please
don't ever make me do that, League of Legends.
No, please, dear Lord, save me from this hell. What game was that? Game 4.
That's game 4.
Okay.
So this whole series looked like C9 was slowly losing ground a little bit. For the first 2, they kind of picked up game 1 to 2, but game 3 was the turning point, and Bjergsen never wants to lose. He never wants to lose, and he decided this game he was not going to lose. I don't like the Gragas pick for Acadian, to be honest. Game 1, it just looked like it was getting tossed around. Game 3 didn't look that good. I think Gragas is okay into Jarvan because you can stop his flag and drag.
Flag and drag, yeah.
But it's whatever.
Zed was 3rd round, by the way.
Zed was 3rd round? Yeah, so they banned out Jace before they did that. So if you're not trying to bait them into picking Jace so Zed has more targets, I don't see why you're picking Zed 3rd round.
I agree, especially because they already have a Rek'Sai and a Galio. It's like, okay, like...
Yeah, Rek'Sai's like, oh no, you landed! Let me sit here for you to spawn and then CC chain!
Yeah, like, LOL, okay, dude, like, what do you want? And then even Galio, it's like, you're not popping a Galio. Like, yeah, you're against the Azrael, but...
Oh no, I'm ulted! Hold W.
Yeah, dude, like, chill, like... Yeah, the Zed pick tilted me off. I was like, if this pops off, they're legends, but it's not gonna pop off.
I don't think anyone can pick surprise shit into Bjergsen. I don't think anyone can do it.
I also don't think you should be picking surprise shit in playoffs.
No. I mean, playoffs is the time you whip it out, especially when you're up 2 games.
I mean, maybe.
Look, this is the
but you're not up 2 games there. You're only up 1.
Oh, they picked it. Game 2? No, that's game
4.
Game 4. They're 1 game away from doing it, so they have 1 more game to lose out.
Fair enough.
This is the game that they lost like the hardest.
Yes.
Like they had no way to get into this game. This game was pretty wrapped up pretty quick. Then game 3 and 5, I think, were the real contentious ones. And honestly, they were my favorite games of the weekend, just because.
I completely agree. But this game was one where it wasn't even very fun to watch. I was like, oh, we're just doing this now? Okay, like, fair enough. Like, we're just gonna watch.
Oh my god, the goddamn pauses. Sense Garen, learn to not be a spaz. Holy shit.
No, that was funny. That was super funny.
Oh my god, he banged his fucking
hand warmer.
Yeah, his hand warmer on the table and it exploded everywhere.
Exploded sand into the keyboard.
Why? Why?
You know it's not good for keyboards and mice? Sand. It's pretty rough, actually.
Especially sand that makes heat and is probably conductive.
I don't see why that would be an issue.
Ooh. But yeah, they ended. I forget if that pause was this game was game 4, game 5. But I know there was so many fucking pauses, and one of them happened in game 4, and they paused game 4 at like 23 minutes. They paused for over 10 minutes, I bet. And then they get back into it in 3 minutes, the game's over. And I was just like, what? It felt so bad. So please, pro players, for the love of God.
Don't spill water on your keyboard and then don't get sand in them. Yo, The amount of time Sven has poured water out his keyboard by accident is actually kind of.
I want to know who has the most the pauses brought because of their action.
Because of spills? That's actually, I want that stat to be tracked.
I want that stat. Okay.
All right.
Want to move on to our player focus for the match?
I don't know that you're actually giving me a choice, so I'm gonna say yes.
You don't have a choice.
That's what I just.
This is my show, goddammit.
That's so I figured. Yo, what is going on with my?
So Bjergsen is a monster, as we have already talked about.
No one doubted this. Not even I doubted this, and I love to flame you. But not even I can get myself to believe that Bjergsen is bad in order to flame you. He's crazy. He's crazy. He's insanely good at this game.
He's too good. Like, if you watch his Zoe play,
it's filthy.
It's disgusting. He can just find you.
Yeah, and then he's on Zillion, and he's like, lol. Like, I'm gonna play Zillion, and
then you give him Zillion and Kindred. What are you doing?
Yeah, that was a sad.
That last draft was crazy.
Dude, true to life, dude.
Oh. I don't. So this series he played.
So much of
he played Jace, Corki, Akali, Zoe, and what the fuck? Zillion. That's the championship. We just said it.
I did just say it.
Yes, you did. He comes out with.
I forgot he played Jace. I was so like by the end, that series felt so long that by the end of Game 5, I like kind of forgot what happened in Game 1.
He came out with a 7.3 KDA, which is the second highest in the series behind Sven at 9.2. He has the third highest CS per minute at 8.4, and was that fourth highest DPM behind both of his other carries.
Yeah. That's nuts.
What? I have no words to describe this man. He didn't die in the last 3 games, by the way.
He didn't. That's actually. I was just looking at that.
He didn't die for 3 games.
That's actually nuts.
I haven't seen that kind of play in forever.
906, 208, and what was the last one? Like 409. Oh my God, Bjergsen is actually insane. He's actually so good at this game. It's kind of wild. He ended the game with a Magi's, dude.
He made Nizzy look like a punk bitch.
Not in all the games.
Maybe not game 1, but in the rest of the second game he's playing fucking Morgana. Who cares?
Yeah,
who cares what he does?
Also, to be fair, yeah, that's fair.
And then Nizzy's playing Zillion, and when you watch Nizzy Zillion and then you watch Bjergsen Zillion, you're just like, these aren't the same thing. Why would you bring these to me? These aren't. Why are you picking Zillion here? Like, what?
Nizzy. Oh yeah, Nizzy did pick Zillion.
Yeah, game 3.
Oh yeah, game 3.
The
downward trend began.
I don't.
Oh my good God.
I don't know if Nizzy. I think Nizzy actually did bring down the power of this team by comparison to last split. Especially when you compare him to Bjergsen, who apparently finished 4th last year.
I mean, like, that's probably true, but I'm honestly not that upset because I feel like Nizzy, with more time in the org, may be able to achieve similar heights. Especially with Licorice, right? Because, like, you're like shifting from like the top lane supporty role to the top lane carry and Licorice and the mid lane support. Like, I think that's something they could do because Licorice is perfectly capable of carrying games.
I say maybe on Nizzy mostly because he's been in the game for a while. He's had time to grow and show himself, but I still haven't seen him be better than Bjergsen or Jensen.
Or like when you're on an org like TSM, like C9, like these really strong orgs with really, really strong systems, it allows you to achieve things you might not otherwise have been able to achieve. It allows you to grow even though you have been here for a long time. I mean, like, there are players who have been in the game for a long time who are joining TSM and are getting better, right? Like, even though they've been playing and should have unlocked it already, right? Like, they're crazy. And that's because of the kind of org that like TSM and C9 are, in my opinion. I don't know nothing about nothing, dude.
I mean, before he got to C9, he came from Splice, and he was on Team Envious.
What's Splice ever done? What's Team Envious ever done, dude?
Didn't they make playoffs once?
I literally don't know. This is not a historical podcast. This is a present day podcast.
They made playoffs twice.
Envious or Splice?
Envious. Splice were doing pretty good for a little while, actually. But I think that's before Nizzy, to be honest.
I really don't know, and I really don't care.
But yeah.
Game 3 had 3 TPs on each side. Exciting.
Oi. That's a different question. That's a different conversation that I don't want to have.
What about teleports?
Oh, yeah, about teleports.
On Jinx?
So, suffice it to say, I think Bjergsen is undoubtedly the best mid laner in this entire league. Not that that's a bold statement.
It's Midland, dude.
Not that that's a bold statement or anything, but like, it just... I feel like every time you see this man in playoffs, he just keeps showing it and showing it.
No, he's crazy.
It was such a disappointment when they couldn't win up last year. And in that other crazy series versus C9 in last summer,
yeah,
it was so close that I definitely think it could have gone either way, and 100 Thieves should have been nowhere near Worlds that year. But that's different conversation. Okay.
R.I.P. to Hui. Did you see that they announced the Hui thing on his birthday?
He knew about it well before that.
I know, but it was funny that they announced it on his birthday.
I mean, sure. Okay.
You don't think that's funny? Like, here's your public birthday gift. Get the fuck out of our house. Like...
Oh wow. I don't think that's funny. I think it's mean.
No, yeah, that's why it's funny.
Okay.
I'm kidding. It was mean. Okay.
Next segment. Goodbye, Cloud9.
Rest in peace, boys. I'll see you soon.
I think this was a good split for them. I don't think it's exactly where they wanted to end up, especially because they're not in finals, considering they placed second last split. They definitely wanted to be playing against TL this weekend.
I agree.
They couldn't hack it. They got beat.
But with a new mid laner, they're pretty good.
Yeah, especially considering they lost Jensen.
Yeah, what I mean is it's with the fact that you get a new mid laner, the fact that it's not the same team, this is a pretty good result for that.
Yeah,
is what I think.
Having lost Jensen, this is a probably accurate result for them.
I agree.
I think...
No matter how much I would have liked to see them do better, but... You know.
I don't know where this team heavily improves, specifically.
I really don't know. They're they're all really good players.
Yeah, they're all really good. They're all really consistent. Any other team in the world would kill for one of their players. But
I feel like it would honestly just needs to be a synergy thing, right? Like...
And they have to stop making random mistakes that tend to happen.
Yeah, so I feel like it's just like a synergy thing, right? Like, once Nizzy gets more comfortable on the team, once they have a more like, obviously he has a role, but once they really clearly define his role with more playing time, I think a lot of this will potentially be solved, right? Like, and maybe it's also like a drafting thing. Maybe it's not like a, why are we picking Ornn here? Like, what are we doing? Why are we locking in Zed here, right? Those kinds of conversations can, I think, do a lot to improve the team, but overall, honestly, like, all their players are pretty fucking crazy. Like,
I really wish you could say you go train Sven and Nizzy a little bit and they get a lot better.
Training montage.
Yeah, but like, where do you go to train these guys? What do? Do you go boot camp in Korea again? I don't think that's gonna make them any better. They've done that 3 times now.
Like, as Nizzy?
They went with Nizzy back in November, December.
Oh, you're right. I don't know, but I don't even know if it's like Sven doing bad or just pick it like a lot of it felt like a bad draft, right? Like,
especially in the TSM series, it was definitely a lot of
the draft. Like, they literally kept picking Jarvan. When they picked Jarvan for the first time, he was 1-8 in playoffs. Like, that's just not a smart pick. So, like, you have a champion who's got a 1-8 record in the playoffs, and he loses. It's like, shocker. What do we do next game? We lock him in again, and you basically have a repeat performance of how much you're dying, of how poorly you're doing, of how little pressure you have. Like, that seems like it's not Svenskeren playing like an idiot. It seems like there was a bad decision made in draft, and his play suffered because of it, because he was on a champion that couldn't thrive. When you had him on the other junglers, he seemed like much more comfortable and competent. So, at least in the playoffs, but I don't know. This team, I think, is pretty... It's hard pressed to make them better, and I don't imagine them performing like much worse next split, you know?
I don't see them finishing outside of top 3, top 4 next split without a doubt. If they finish any lower than that, something went wrong.
Something went very wrong.
Hopefully Reaper can to pull it out again.
Yeah.
I will note that Sven went 2 different rune builds, but the same like item build in game 3 and 4 on Jarvan. He took
what was it? One Conqueror and
he took Thunder the first one and Conquer the second, and went full tank both times.
it's called Electrocute. But yeah.
I don't fuck you. It's Thunderlords, goddammit! Thunderlords!
It's not. Hasn't been for quite some time, by the way.
I don't care!
You can never take the past that I love. Fuck you, dude.
So, I don't... Like, I don't think they have an idea about how they want him to be playing, at least Jarvan specifically, because he went 2 different builds. Well, he had 2 different rune pages that are meant for 2 different builds. Is he building tank because he's behind, and this is like, oh, I'm behind, I need to build tank? Because that doesn't make any sense either.
I don't know what it is. All I know is I didn't like it. It seemed to be... I mean, he didn't... Oh, yeah, he did.
He did good on Rek'Sai and Hecarim, but it wasn't enough game 5.
No, I agree. But it was better than the performance that he had been giving.
I wonder if they didn't pick Jarvan game 3, would they have still won? Because I don't think Zed was the only problem on that team. 056 Jarvan is definitely a problem.
Both those 2 losses I felt started on the Jarvan. I mean, he ended the game 3 0-5-6, and then the other game 1-5-3, right? Like, he had almost no impact early. He had almost no impact in team fights, right? Like, that's what the huge problem was. If he has, like, Rek'Sai with Zed, or he has some aggressive jungler that is not Jarvan, and he's setting up, he's getting kills. I mean, they almost got the kill level 2 on Zoe with that absolute bullshit knockup, if you recall. He was like 10 feet away from her, but he got the knockup, and she barely lived. But if that happens, if that kill happens, I think there's a real chance that the game kind of snowballs, and I think that there's a real chance to get that kind of kill in a much more guaranteed way on a champion that hasn't been sort of struggling in the postseason. So, does that make sense? Did I ramble? I don't know what happened there.
I mean, it must
blacked out. I blacked out.
But I'm wondering if, like, I want to know how this team can place better, because it just doesn't seem like they're gonna be able to undoubtedly be the best. They're always probably gonna have to be fighting TSM and TL for first. And after this split, I get the feeling that they're gonna be like 3rd man out, or the 3rd wheel.
To be honest, I don't think that I wasn't like watching. I think that that's maybe true, but I do think that in this series, I didn't feel like it was a 100% guaranteed TSM win the whole way through, right? Like, it really was a close, tight series, which I think we both expected it to be.
Yeah.
So I think that, like, you know, if the drafts had gone a little bit better, I legitimately think that, and this is not just because I'm a fan, I legitimately think that C9 could have won this series. Like, it wasn't a complete impossibility. So, like, maybe if, like, Broken Blade automatically sort of next split just becomes better than Licorice, and Acadian or Greg, whoever's in their top or their jungle role, becomes immediately better than Svenskeren, like, maybe they're the odd man out. But I think that it's mostly a competition for second place unless TSM can slap up TL, and the TL falls apart. But I think that there's a legitimate possibility for this team to beat that TSM team, like same rosters in the future. I don't think it's impossible.
I mean, of course they can always beat them. Like, it's
no, but I mean, like, it's not even like unlikely, right? Like, I legitimately think, like, better drafting, they win the series, right? Like,
I mean,
or like it's even closer than it was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just goodbye C9.
Goodbye C9. Should we talk about Reaper now or later?
No. We'll talk about that after both the series.
Okay. Just figured because you just mentioned it. So. Okay. Team Liquid versus Flyquest. Anthony, give me your impressions of the series overall.
Team Liquid apparently were struggling in scrims, but they still were able to show up. If at least on their own skills, on their raw mechanical skill.
Oh yeah. Hold on.
I wasn't expecting Flyquest to be quite so easy. I was expecting more of the game 1 Flyquest that we were seeing, rather than
game 1 was tight.
Rather than game 2 and 3, which were kind of really quick stomps. But game 1 was looking really good. But I feel like it was a lot off the back of Viper clutching some fights on
Dude,
Aurelia.
Viper's nuts. I think you actually DM'd me during that game. Like, yo, Viper's crazy.
Viper was going crazy that game, and I'm like, yo, Viper might be able to solo carry this game. And then it's like, wait a minute, Viper can't solo carry into Jensen and double lift.
Yeah, I just searched it last Sunday, all caps. Viper is insane. What the fuck? At 339.
That was one team fight where I think he gets like 3 people. And
yeah, I just responded to dude for real. That was at the Baron fight when you sent me that. Right after the Baron fight.
I didn't see any major problems with their drafting per se.
Who's with Fly?
With Flyquest at least, but I feel like leaving them to have Zoe for 2 of the 3 games. I all had questions. Poe Belter was not showing up on Zoe at the time, but
at the first game,
I still got questions. Why are you leaving Zoe out to dry like that when you were performing? It wasn't great, but it's not Jensen's Zoe.
It went 4-1 in the game. 4-1-4 game 2, 6-1-4 game 3 on Jensen.
Yeah, it's not Jensen's Zoe. And it doesn't have to play into Jensen's Chase, which, to be honest, kind of...
Not very good.
I didn't see much of that. I didn't like Bjergsen's Chase either, to be honest.
No, I didn't like the mid lane Jace.
Neither of them on Jace I didn't like.
I wasn't a big fan of that. I was like, I hope I don't have to watch this again.
Though, to be honest, I think TL won game 1 because they took Sona Taric and had no idea how to do it. But it turns out if you spam heal on Sona and Taric, you get like 500 more health in a fight on everybody.
Correct.
So they probably...
Turns out you don't even have to be that good at hitting Sona ults either. You've got to be like vaguely in the vicinity and good enough.
C9 ran this too and they couldn't land a Sona ult either.
Yeah, but they won with it. Dude, I can't believe that fucking shit.
There was one
Do you think
team
they're gonna
fight.
nerf that? Definitely not.
They're probably hopefully when they rework Spellthief again. But there was one team fight where Double Lift should have just stayed together.
I remember
did
this.
it, and he just flashed out into the open alone instead of helping to sustain his team, which is his job. His job isn't to DPS. He sustains his team, and then he dies.
But he's got that carry mentality, dude.
I don't know. I thought Impact looked pretty good game 1.
I agree.
But I didn't feel like he totally won them the game. I feel like FlyQuest just couldn't, like I said before, they just couldn't keep up, and band-aiding everything with Sona Taric just made it so that you could death ball over them. And once they're like, wait a minute, we're a death ball, they won game 1 instead of just playing spread team fights for no reason.
Yeah.
Your impressions?
Of the series overall or of game 1?
In general, whatever you want to pick.
You know, I was surprised. Obviously, you and I both picked 3-2 FlyQuest because we're grief gods. Maybe that was bad in hindsight. I did actually expect... I'll say this.
I expected more from them, 100%.
I expected a lot more from them. Basically, everyone on Fly that I anticipated showing up kind of didn't. Wild Turtle had a fine series, but 2-3 in the last game, 1-1 in game 2, 0-3-8 in game fucking 1. Santorin was decent. Pobe never really showed up in that full sort of force that we had seen him at the end of the regular season.
I think playing into Jensen is a big part of that.
What was?
I think playing into Jensen is a big part of that.
I don't disagree at all because Jensen's quite good at this video game. Viper obviously popped off game 1, couldn't get it, couldn't solo carry into Impacting Smithy, Jensen double lift. I mean, this is literally a super team, right? They're crazy. Yeah. They're stacked in every role, you know?
Yeah, they're real crazy.
They're stacked.
Yeah.
They're stacked in every role.
They're basically a second string player from TSM, TL, or C9 or Immortals in 3 of their roles. This would be Wild Turtle is very comparable to Sneaky in a lot of his skills. He's got the most games played in the LCS. He is the most played
Only
player.
because Sneaky got benched.
Is that really how he got the lead? No.
I think so.
No, he had the games from before because he played on TSM for 2/3 of season 3 when they kicked out Chaos.
Oh, true. My bad.
But I don't know where exactly all their like strength went, but I
They
kind
looked
of
unconfident and unsure of how to play the game from their position.
I would have been a lot more
Um,
confident coming off of game 1, and I thought that giving Viper Kali might have won them game 2, but it didn't. It didn't turn up as much as I thought it would, and I think they had too many carries and not enough like straight up team fight, which is something that we said last week is what they should have been picking for. Is hard.
that is what
team
we
fight.
said. We did say that with
And-
our mouths, our collective mouth.
And I don't think.
I'm sorry I said that.
Yeah, they didn't really pick heavy team fight, and even game 5, even game 3, they kind of have a team fight comp, but it's sort of there's no tank, there's no good engage, you have to land a Kennen and an Orianna ultimate on something, or you lose, because then you don't use those two abilities. So
Yeah.
like, as much as the drafts aren't bad, it's not Flyquest style. Flyquest should have picked a standard AD carry with a controlish mage mid lane, maybe Zoe, especially to keep it out of Jensen's hand, a bruisery tanky jungler, and probably a bruisery tanky top, or a carry top and a carry the game 3.
I mean, they had Varus. That's a standard AD carry.
Right, but like it
Wow,
is
dude.
a team fight team comp, but
Dude.
it's reliant on landing a few wombo combos, and it's not a good straight team fight. It's a lot
That's
of do it all in one go, and if you can't get that one go, you don't win, and if you don't land that one go, you don't win either.
Varus actually seems like a really weird pick on this team because everything else seems to synergize really well. Like more gold cannon ult, like in Ori ball delivery in Rek'Sai or in Cannon. But Varus wants to
I mean,
like yes, he went lethal tempo Varus, which wants to stand there and auto attack, but like I feel like there are maybe better AD
I
carries.
think they picked it to counter Zoe. I think that was like trying to be their answer to Zoe, but they also give over Tom Kench.
Yeah, which is really bad to give Core JJ because he's crazy good at
Yeah,
Kench.
he's pretty good at Tom Kench, and when you
He
give content to a
unbenches the
double lift, like
Kench.
what's the goddamn point? Like, you just gave double lift like 3 more outs than he had before.
And he had a couple. I mean, he actually didn't have many because he's. But
I think by game 3, FlyQuest were really demoralized, and they didn't really think they could
for
win.
sure.
And even if you gave them their like comfort pick comp, like they're probably not gonna win that game after game 1 and 2, just getting slapped around.
Agree. I completely agree. I was expecting more from them early, maybe an early lead.
Okay.
Disappointing. I am
Well,
excited for TSM and
FlyQuest
though.
didn't live up to it, but
They did not.
good season for them. Okay, so do we want to move on to
We
the
both got a dark red box for this one.
Yeah.
boys. We both fucked up heavily, is what we learned today. Don't trust.
do we want to move on to
Yes.
their player focus? Or do you want to just kind
Viper.
of skip that this time because we kind of covered it?
I mean, we kind of covered Viper, right? Like, because the only like standout. I mean, I remember. Hold on. You also DM'd me like, who should we even player focus? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe
this game I
JJ.
didn't have much of a
Yeah, like maybe
idea
Core
who to
JJ
play
because
focus.
he's just always really good. And I mean, Viper's only like for me, like oh dude, Core JJ, fucking Alistar game 2 was fucking filthy. But I just like Viper's one play in game 1 or his handful of plays. We covered them already, and I feel like that's what we're just going to talk about in the player focus. So,
Yeah. Alright, so let's just move on to goodbye FlyQuest.
farewell, Flyquest. We love you. Probably
I think FlyQuest had a great season, especially
better
for
support.
the expectations that everyone had for them coming in.
I completely agree.
I had them I think
I had them lower
just-
than they ended.
I think I had them either. Yeah, I don't remember where I had them. I don't know.
I had them in playoffs for sure, but
I
lower, and wasn't.
I didn't
confident
have
they would
them.
get
I didn't have
nine.
them fourth. I don't think. I think I had CLG fourth. No, I had 100 Thieves fourth. I had 100
Oh
Thieves
yeah.
fourth.
Back
That's
before we
who was
got the
fourth.
bamboozling unraveled.
But
Classic. Oh, throwback to when we thought they'd be good.
throw back to when everyone thought they were a team that could play League of Legends.
And for a while they were.
A little bit. Okay, this is about Flyquest, not 100 Thieves. Let's get back to it.
Yes, they did better than expected.
I think Viper is a lot better than everyone thought he was coming in. I
agree. If you remember the very beginning of this split, I was like, I don't know, dude. And
everyone
I always
was like, I don't know. I had Viper and Broken Blade in the same question mark basket as like, I don't know what the fuck these guys are gonna do, but it's gonna be something.
And they're both pretty good.
Yeah, they're both pretty good, especially coming in with the expectations. So I think it's a little bit, everyone's kind of surprised and putting them a bit over where they are, but I don't know. I think Broken Blade still has more to go. I don't know how much farther Viper has to go. It's hard to see, but
they're also on two like radically different teams.
Yeah.
Like if you put Viper on TSM, I imagine he could be like what I said earlier about like orgs like TSM and C9, like they can just pull more out of players.
I think Flyquest is a good org, especially for them to like keep growing and becoming a
I think they have a real shot in the future. Yeah.
They don't have any sponsors. We have as many sponsors as Flyquest does. So yeah, I think they definitely should probably work on becoming a stronger on the org side rather than like look, if you can keep making 4th place finishes in playoffs every season for a while, that's a pretty good team, and I think you'll do well. You're just outside of Worlds every time. Maybe you'll make it one of those times. Hope maybe you'll. I don't want to say you'll luck into it, but like maybe one team will fall down at the right moment and you'll get in. So, this team was.
But I think stronger orgs build stronger teams too,
yes,
right? Like
yeah.
The teams with the best support systems often excel the most because they're able to in a way that teams maybe don't have sponsors, don't have all this other stuff worked out. That it's not as able to thrive as a player, potentially anyway. I think that happens in all sports though. Like,
I'm really impressed for what this team could do with a bunch of role players.
Dude, true.
Like when you put a bunch of role players together, it becomes a really mundane team that doesn't have
We're the San Antonio Spurs.
That doesn't have any one player to play around or one like avenue to focus on, and they just kind of. Maybe they win sometimes they'll win a game because they just did better than the other team and they played standard straight up. But they normally don't get especially creative. But I think having Viper on the team will definitely help with that. I think Viper can potentially become a good carry to play through. And
I mean, I think he's a fine carry, but I think he just needs more practice on this stage.
Maybe so. And I think
he's like a Riven player, like.
And I think that Santorin still has a little bit more like growing or living up to do because he played really well back when he played with TSM. It was pretty
he's
good,
quite
pretty
good
aggressive,
back then.
And I think he can definitely get back to that.
Lust Boy days? ?
Yes, he was on there with Lust Boy.
God, I love Lust Boy. God, I love Lust Boy.
And I want to see Wild Turtle get back in the top of Challenger, please. That I loved that time. That was a good time for Wild Turtle when he was like the top of Challenger.
I agree.
And I'm wondering how much further JJ can go, and I feel like his ceiling's really close. And if this team needs to upgrade, I think the support position is probably the position to do it in. JJ
I agree. That's what I said earlier.
He doesn't look bad, but I feel like he can always do better. And I don't know who's available for them to get at the moment. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Academy. Azerbaijan, stop calling me. Robocalls, everybody.
You got a call from Azerbaijan right now?
Yeah.
Very funny.
So I don't know who you specifically replace him with, but imagine him with this team with Zazel or Smoothie. They would be so good if they had Zazel.
I would rather not imagine Zazel leaving me.
Shh, I don't want Smoothie leaving either, but I'm just making a hypothetical.
No, I agree.
So
I think that's just, of course, that's true because right now, I think even in pro play, bot lane is so determined by the pace of the support or the ability of the support. Like, I honestly think with the better support, Wild Turtle's capable of matching double lift, or at least not getting rolled over, right? But because JJ's maybe not as experienced, the bot lane sort of as a whole suffers, you know? But if you have Smoothie or Zazel there, then I think they can legitimately contend against, or at least not get dominated by double and Core. Although no disrespect to Core JJ, that man is fucking insane.
I feel like he's a little overhyped, but he's definitely good.
He had a very good series.
Okay.
Farewell, Fly.
Goodbye, Flyquest. You had a good season. I hope to see more from you in the summer.
Did Reaper deserve Coach of the Split? That's our next question.
Hell
Did
no.
Reaper deserve
Hell
Coach of the
no.
Split?
Uh-uh.
Oh boy.
My
Did he
boy,
get it last split?
my boy Zix deserved that.
No, he didn't. Did he get it last split?
No, that was Reaper. That was Reaper.
No, I'm asking about Reaper last
Oh
split.
yes. Reaper got it last split. He got it for benching half his team and then bringing them back in slowly.
That makes sense to me. That split. This split, I honestly think it probably should have gone to Echo Fox's coach. For the amazing
Echo Fox's, I don't think so.
Okay, well, definitely shouldn't have gone to
over
Zix.
Golden Guardians coach.
Oh wait, sorry. True. So it should have
think-
been Golden Guardians coach. I don't think TSS Zix is good, but I don't think he did anything nuts.
The
right?
problem with saying Golden Guardians coach is that Anero wasn't the head coach for after the 04 start. They changed coaches.
Oh.
Whoever the head coach was, he was still on the coaching staff, but they changed the head coach, and they didn't announce it until recently. That shouldn't be a thing, right? You should be telling us who is like active in everyone at all times.
Oh, that's true. But I mean, even the new coach who came in and didn't turn that shit around.
Even whoever the new coach was probably should have got it over Reaper. And then the Flyquest coach definitely should have got it too. Though I think having a lot of veteran talent on that team definitely helps.
Oh, for sure. Which is why I find Golden Guardians like more impressive, you know.
Yeah. And that's why I don't think Reaper should get it. I think how much you improve your team should be a significant factor for how you place in this kind of measurement.
C9 did as well as most people expected.
C9 went from second place to third place this split. And I know we're not supposed to count playoffs, but even in regular season, they finished in the same spot they were last season. Yeah. And they didn't even look shaky at all.
Their two players.
They didn't have to go from 10th place to Worlds this split. Like, what?
And that was pretty fucking wild, though. That was a good storyline.
And they still wouldn't have gone to MSI if they had...
When is MSI?
It's in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I need to talk to you about that after the show. Okay. So, I don't... Like, they weren't going to live up to the same place they were last time. So I don't see... Like, I don't see why he deserved this over Zix, who took a team like TSM who...
Zix didn't deserve shit. He deserved it more than Reaper, but I think it has to go to GGS or Fly over Zix, too.
Like, he took TSM, who had the worst year of their entire career last year. And I know, making playoffs is the worst year of their entire career.
I mean, they're a storied team.
Yeah. And then he took them, and now they're going to the finals right now. And they went on an 11-1 game streak in the last 6 weeks. That is such an enormous pickup. And honestly, I think that's almost bigger than Golden Guardians. And I do say almost. But I think his drafting is also a lot better. As you saw in the C9 series, and I know, again, we're not supposed to include playoffs, but as was...
I mean, even if you saw him, like, the TL series in the split.
You got to see it at the end of the split, especially. Where Zix was just doing nasty drafts everywhere and totally ruining everyone's game plans with his drafts.
He's quite good at that shit, dude.
And I'm just... I don't know, I love Zix drafts. Zix drafts are good. He had a major improvement on the team. Like, compare week 2 or week 3 TSM to week 9 or week 8 TSM. Two different teams.
Crazy difference.
And they would week 9 or week 8 would demolish week.
Crazy difference.
So, like, I don't know. Reaper didn't deserve it, and we can both agree on that, but I definitely think that Zix should have gotten it.
I don't think Zix should have gotten it over GGS or Fly. But I think he should have been ahead of Reaper on the list. Next question. Whomst, and by whomst I mean who, will be the MVP? Probably Bjergsen.
So, your MVP should always come down to the 5 players that are on the All-Pro team, like the top 5 All-Pro team players.
Did they announce All-Pro?
Yes. I think it was Licorice, Smithy, Jensen, Licorice, Smithy, Bjergsen, Double Lift.
Licorice and Core JJ. Wow.
It was Core JJ?
5th. Yeah. Okay, so I think it's for sure Licorice or Bjergsen. Maybe Double Lift, but I think it needs to be Bjergsen.
I think
it needs to be Bjergsen.
The problem is that we have a bit of a like I was saying before, recency bias with watching him play playoffs, where Bjergsen is just manhandling children.
I'm not even considering playoffs. I'm just considering the 11-1 run.
I definitely think Bjergsen is a much more impactful player in his role than Core JJ is. I don't think Core JJ is bad, and I definitely think he should probably get second or third along with Licorice.
Literally any one of these players is like obviously worthy of being on the MVP list. Right?
I think there are only three you really need to consider: is Bjergsen, Core JJ, and Licorice. I think anyone else is really pushing it. I don't think I've seen much from Doublelift that I'm like, Doublelift is a god this, but he is carrying that team, and I haven't seen the same from McSmithy. In fact, I would put most of TL's last 3 losses on McSmithy.
Yeah, no, that's true.
He didn't look so hot in those 3 losses.
But Licorice, Bjergsen, and Core JJ, I could all concede. Like, I think it should be Bjergsen, but if Licorice got it, I wouldn't be like mad. I'd be like, okay, that makes sense, right? Like, yeah, Core JJ a little bit less, but like.
I would definitely put my vote in for Bjergsen because
Me too.
I think I don't think Bjergsen has ever not been a viable option for MVP, and that alone for me just kind of is like he should probably just keep winning these until somebody smacks him silly. To be honest.
Wow, Viper got Rookie of the Split.
There were only like 4 options.
Vulcan and Wiggly.
Wiggly only played 1 or 2 games. I think you need to. I think you're supposed to.
No, he was in the 3rd place for voting.
Right. I think people send in votes that aren't allowed sometimes.
Oh. Okay.
So I don't know, but I know that that list should have been really short because there weren't a lot of options.
Well, fans don't vote on this.
They don't. It's all media and players.
And the broadcast team.
Yeah. So, I think the other thing they have to consider is like what makes the most valuable player to you. Like, there was one split where Arrow won it and robbed it from Honser. Sorry.
See, that's why I'm saying I think it should be Bjergsen, but I could see it being Licorice, and I wouldn't be annoyed. Like, I wouldn't be like, Bjergsen got robbed, because Licorice and Bjergsen,
they're both hard carrying their teams this split.
Yeah, they're both doing like vaguely the same thing on the roster, right? Like, obviously Bjergsen is doing it differently because Bjergsen, Licorice still obviously very good, but like they're both consistently showing up. They're both helping their team when they're down. They're a big reason they're winning. They're never really the reason they're losing, and they're sort of incredibly keys. They're incredible keys to the success of the team right now. I think Bjergsen deserves it a little more because of the end of the split. The 11-1 run, I think, is very impressive, and I tend to weight the end of splits more because it's sort of when things matter coming down to playoffs. But I wouldn't. It's not inconceivable for me to see Licorice getting this, especially because Licorice had the second most points on the team.
Well,
and Bjergsen actually had the second least.
Well, the thing is that you have to remember the contention in the role.
Oh, I know, but
what was it? One thing when I think about when I consider MVP is like, what one player in this league would I first pick in a draft, and would I consider to be the most like the player that I could put on any team and make that team better? And I think that has been Bjergsen for every single season I have seen him in.
Yes, but you can't make this MVP vote off last season. That's ridiculous.
But like, I don't think I've ever had a conversation with somebody about who their first round draft pick would be in the LCS, and it not been Bjergsen.
I wouldn't pick him first.
Who?
I'm kidding. Okay. No, he's crazy.
Like, everyone should be picking this man first because he's been so good for so long, and the only time we've ever seen him like underperform was it was for a short while, and then he normally got better and kept improving. And normally when he doesn't perform as well, it's because he's playing out of the box things and not necessarily because he's bad. It's because they're giving him Galio mid that they're trying out or something like that. So yeah, I think that's good for the MVP. Shall we move on to our preview for this weekend?
MVP for the weekend?
The match this weekend?
Oh, you said the match, dude. I fucking thought you said the MVP of this weekend. I was like, what are you talking about?
Well, it is going to be this weekend.
No, I know, but I was just like, look, things happen.
Pay attention.
I was reading stats, okay?
Okay.
I got distracted by my job. Anyway, playoff preview, TL versus TSM. Do you want to vote first?
We'll do our picks at the end.
Okay.
So, coming into this, we have TSM coming off of a really, really contentious series versus C9,
coming off a fucking slap.
Where I don't think they got to hide everything. I feel like they had to show a few things there. And then you got TL coming off of a kind of a raffle stomp and mostly playing, I think, what everyone expected them to play. Like, I don't see anything revolutionary here.
Yeah.
I think the Olaf and the Skarner are actually kind of different, but at the same time, I wouldn't have thought Xmithy couldn't play those because I'm sure he's played them in the past.
No. Oh, he has. I remember seeing. I mean, any LCS jungler that can't play Olaf is like, that's crazy. That's crazy. I expect but he's not even that hard, guys. Like, the Skarner was fun. Shout out Captain Flowers.
Like, I don't see anything particularly new here for TSM that I think they did well on. I guess you could say the Corki pick, kind of, but I don't think they did super good with the Corki pick. I felt like that team comp probably needed a more frontline tank or something and an Enchantress, or at least some I don't know. Brahm's a lot of appeal, but I don't understand like how you make that stronger. And I don't think anyone doubted Bjergsen could play Akali because they've been banning it.
If anyone doubted that, then they're fucking trolling.
Yeah, and they didn't watch him go to town on Tiela with it last summer.
Yeah, you're trolling.
I think the Cho'Gath pick.
That was great.
And
that was high IQ, I think.
I think the Cho'Gath pick and the Akali top pick are two gives for TSM. I think.
Well, the Cho's dangerous because Bjergsen is a nasty Cho'Gath, dude. Like, you can flex the Cho. Like, it kind of sucks mid right now, but like, if they have like a Lissandra or some shit, then
yeah, they're not playing this patch. I think that flexing Akali is very strong.
Or are they on the next patch?
No, they're on 9.6. We're a patch ahead of them right now, I think. But what I'm trying to say is that I think they had to give up a little bit of their top side picks, and I don't know if they can. I don't know if they have more. I feel like they might have one more thing topside to pull out, but I don't feel like they have anything else they want to show. Though, that being said, they already have to ban, like, a whole load of shit for topside. And for mid, and, like, there's so many picks you had to ban on this team that I think they could show you everything, and you'd be sitting here like, I can't stop everything. And not that TL doesn't have that, but at the moment, they haven't shown that they have that, which is a good and a bad thing. But I think if you can control their bot side and get them in an uncomfortable position, I think TL's bot side will probably just straight up lose to TSM's bot side. And I think Acadian can be aggressive enough to overwhelm Xmithy, and hopefully those two things will break the team. Because I don't see Bjergsen losing lane, and I see Broken Blade at least holding his own against Impact.
I think that's legitimately fair. I actually don't have much to add to that. We basically hit everything I wanted to say. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm actually very excited for this game. I think no matter how it plays out, it's going to be good, especially with TL sort of back in full form. I'm excited for this. I think it will be a nice old battle.
Do you think Jensen will be able to keep up with Bjergsen again this split? Do you think he's going to finally get a title?
No, I don't know. Like, Jensen always does fine in fucking semis and quarters and then chokes in playoffs or finals, right? Like, that's the story of my last few years as a C9 fan, is unpressed Echo Rs and
Hey, now Doublelift can save his flash for Jensen to not use either.
I don't know. Like, I actually am having a hard time deciding who I think will actually win. I think it could go either way.
I think TSM have them even or outmatched in every role. I don't think their bot lane is so far ahead. I don't think their top lane is so far ahead, and I don't think their jungle is so far ahead. I think Bjergsen is a giant mental block for Jensen, especially in finals. And I think
their jungle is pretty far ahead of Acadian.
I think he's a lot smarter than Acadian, but I think that
Xmithy's probably the smartest jungler in the LCS.
Probably. But I think that if you get Acadian rolling, he isn't gonna give up as much as many of the other junglers in the LCS because Acadian's used to being able to hard carry games straight up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, should we do picks?
Is that all we got to say about this game? I thought we'd have more to say. Oh, okay. What champions do you think these teams should be prioritizing?
Zoe.
Zoe
ban has to be like
Zoe,
both these mid laners.
Akali.
Both of these mid laners can 100% take over a game on Zoe, and it needs to be either first picked or banned every single game.
I think
Akali is a big priority too. I agree.
I think so. I think the Lissandra, Silas, Aurelia, I think those bans are going to be prevalent. I'm wondering if TSM pick up Sona Taric by next week or by this weekend.
I don't know.
Because TL didn't seem very strong on it. And
Smoothie's actually got a filthy Taric, by the way. So even if they don't ban it, just pick it one game.
Yeah, they might be able to just pick it because I don't think Taric's that bad of a pick. He's got pretty.
He's not, and Smoothie's actually
like
so good at Taric.
Oh, I miss Biofrost Taric. It was so.
I know
good.
You do. You just miss Biofrost.
I miss Biofrost in general. So I think they can definitely pick away Taric Sona, if not play it themselves. So I think Zillion will probably be on the table too, because I know Jens can play Zillion, and I know Impact can play Kindred. It looks like Kennen might be on the table.
Do you mean Xmithy?
I meant Xmithy, yes. Okay,
I was like, Kindred top sounds like trolling. What do you? I wanted you to dive into that if that's what you meant. So.
No. I think Kennen's on the table, and I think Ryzen's on the table because they've both been playing that too. But I think Jarvan should definitely be off the table in the cupboard and put away under a dark box, somewhere I don't have to look at it. Please, for the love of God. Oh, also probably Rek'Sai.
Rex has a big priority for Acadian because he always performs really well on him.
Also, I don't know what's going to happen in the 80 carries because I don't think it matters.
Oh, I don't think they're going to prioritize that at all.
I don't think anyone cares who any of the 80 carries picks.
Outside of banning Sona, you're not touching that role. So,
yeah.
I think that a way for TL to win this series would be to focus Acadian, because I do think Xmithy's probably a little bit of a better jungler and definitely has a deeper pool. I think there are really 3 junglers that Acadian's super shined on. And if you ban 2 and take 1, or you ban 1 and take 1 and force him onto a counter match, right? One of those junglers is Sejuani. Xmithy obviously can play. One of them is Rek'Sai, obviously Xmithy, right?
I don't think there was a single jungle ban. Okay, there was the only jungle ban was in Team the only jungle bans I think were in TL Flyquest, and then there was one ban of Kindred in TSM C9.
Well, I mean that can change in a different series.
Okay, there are two bans on Kindred, and then I can't do math. There were 3 bans on Kindred, and then TSM
someone
started
can't
trying
count.
to pick it.
Okay. Look, all I know is that I think it's a legitimate strategy, because that feels to me like what would be the biggest skill discrepancy.
Yeah, that's the part where you want to get your leverage.
Yeah, so getting your leverage in the jungle, I think, would be the wise move for TL. So it's sort of focusing on Acadian's comparatively small champion role to your boy Xmithy 500 IQ jungle plays.
I kind of worry about Acadian being able to keep up performing in these more these higher and higher pressure positions, because Acadian's never been here before. I don't think he's ever been in playoffs before this.
He had one, but I don't remember.
Maybe one, I don't know.
I legitimately don't know though.
But it just, I'm kind of waiting for Acadian to crack, and I'm just like, if it's not here, it's gonna be an MSI, and that's not gonna be much better.
Which would probably be worse for you, yeah.
That's not going to be a better outcome. If he cracks here, it's like crap. All right, let's start improving for next split. If he cracks at MSI, it's time to start looking for a new jungler. Though, oh wait, Greg will be back by then. I don't care anymore. Acadian, you got nothing to lose. Keep going.
You do have a finals to lose.
No. You don't have to lose that.
Okay. You want to do picks?
Yeah, let's go over our picks. You first.
No, thank you.
No, you first.
Dude, I literally don't know. I think it's gonna probably be a 3-2 series.
But for who?
All right, here's my dilemma. Are you ready?
What's your dilemma?
I want to see TL lose because I like seeing super teams lose. But I want to see TSM lose.
This isn't about what you want. This is about what you think.
Because I want to see you unhappy. I really am having a hard time with this. Like, no memes. I've been thinking about it for several days, and I'm like, fucking, I don't know. Based on the last 2 series, Team Liquid, 3-2.
I say TSM 3-1.
Oh God.
I think Bjergsen has put on his carry pants and they're not coming
Fuck.
off. No. You can't change it now.
I can't. I'm not changing the 3-2, but I might change the TSM 3-2 because I do think it's going to be a 5 series.
Nope. Can't change it now.
We've never had a no backsies rule before, and we're not starting.
Wait. Since when do you have it? We're making predictions here. I wanted you to go first so you wouldn't get tainted by my prediction.
But I don't have a real prediction because I legitimately... Okay, fine. TL 3-2, but I don't feel confident in it, and I don't feel any attachment to being right here.
You're sucky analyst.
Yes!
Okay.
Never said I wasn't, dude.
Alright. I think that's it. I think that'll do it for this week.
You want to take us home, dude?
Yeah. Thank you for watching Legendary League of Legends podcast. You can catch us every week at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/Nizzy2K11. Catch the VODs on my YouTube channel.
On Wednesday, you forgot to say that. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m.
It's in the description if you really want to find out in the VOD. Otherwise, just come here at the same time next week, whoever's watching the stream. Either way, goodbye. Have a good night.